Hi there, my name is Kevin Zraly and welcome to the Delaware and Hudson Canal Museum. This was, when I got here back in 1970, it was a restaurant called the DePuy Canal House Tavern. And right here is where I was the bartender. And so many great times being a bartender, waiter here at the restaurant. We received a 4-star rating from Craig Claiborne of the New York Times back in 1970, in March of 1970. And I stayed here from 1970 to 1976. And then I went to Windows on the World restaurant on top of One World Trade Center in New York City. It was a great restaurant. This was a magical restaurant here at the DePuy Canal House Tavern, created by John Novi, who bought the house in 1964, started renovating it in 1968, and then opened it in 1969. This is sort of where I learned all about wine. This area here was my first wine cellar. We had all the wine stored on its side here. And of course we'd come over and get it, and that's how we'd bring it to the customers. Back in 1970, we got this 4-star rating from the New York Times, and the local college came by, Ulster County Community College, and said, "Why, you got this 4-star rating, you must know something about wine and food or cheese." And he said, "Yeah, we know a little bit about it." And so they said, "Okay, why don't you teach a class?" So in 1971, my first wine class that I ever taught was with John Novi on cheese. He did cheese, I did wine. And we thought, he didn't really know much about cheese, I really didn't know much about wine, but we pulled it off. We thought we were gonna have 6 people, but we filled up the whole main dining room here. I think we had like 30 people, and all in, at the tables, etc. And this is sort of where I stood, a little bit further back, and had my first wine class. And so that was in 1971, and now here we are in 2022, and I've had 25,000 students. This fireplace, though, there's 4 of them in the house, and they're fantastic, and they are usable. I was the one in charge. I had to do get all the wood in here and do it that way. Eventually, it became a dining room, and I think I probably had 100 meals in here in this particular room. This room, amazingly, was the original kitchen for the DePuy Canal House Tavern. You can see the 1797 beams that were here, and this was extremely small. The stove was here and vented out that way, and the dishwasher was over here, and we were doing 100 to 120 covers a night, so you can imagine we got to know each other very well. So I'm actually walking. This was an outside door here. Everything that you see right now was built in the 70s. We opened this in 1973 as the new kitchen. It was actually nominated for the New York State Council on the Arts Award. John brought all these beams in. The bricks that you see came from the Round Out and also from the Hutton Brickyards. And over here was all the cooking was done here. But the amazing thing, look at how much more space we have than the small kitchen that we had before. And up here on the top, this was actually the most amazing thing, because John also built a balcony that's back here that people could actually walk from the 2nd floor and come and watch cooking going on. And then also he had a table, which was spectacular. You're talking about, this is long before people had, eating in open kitchens, so to speak. So in 1973, this was an open kitchen. It had a table here. If you wanted to eat in the kitchen, you could, and watch all the chaos on a Saturday night, but that made the fun of it. Some of you might know I'm in the wine business, and this actually here was one of my first wine lists, I don't know if you can get a close-up here, but looking at the prices of these wines, and it's on slate. This is how it was presented, and I found out recently that I thought I painted it on, but actually that's whiteout, ladies and gentlemen. So whiteout lasted 50 years, and so my whole career with wine began at the DePuy Canal House Tavern, now the Delaware and Hudson Canal Museum. What a great and magical time it was for me to work here from 1970 to 1976 in the early days of the restaurant. But now coming back here and looking at the Delaware and Hudson Canal Museum and how the place has been transformed into, as you've seen, beauty and art still are here. The feeling is still here. I hope that you've enjoyed a little tour around the Canal House.